Welcome to Warhammer 40k Dataslate Review. I am the Twin Coot, and in this video we're taking a look at the Adeptus Mechanicus unit, the Ironstrider Ballistarii. I know many of my viewers are not here for 40k, but that's predominantly what I've been playing lately. Also, Adeptus Mechanicus is my main faction. As far as I can tell, there are a limited amount of YouTube videos focusing on the army. So, I'm going to start putting out a dataslate review for each unit, in some cases redoing an older video. Don't worry, I still got your Age of Sigmar Tactics videos, but I do want to pump out the AdMech units. Anyway, first on the list are the Ballistarii Ironstriders, and we're going to start with the model's stat characteristics and options. These metal chickens are the range alternative in the Ironstrider's kit. Starting with the base stats, the models have a 10-inch movement, which makes them super fast. Defensively, they aren't bad with toughness 6, 6 wounds, and a 4-up armor and 6-up invulnerable saves. On top of that, they come in a unit for additional wounds and have leadership 8, which is bumped up to 9 in the morale phase because of their broad spectrum data tether. The war gear also affects friendly Forgeworld units within 3 inches. Keeping models within 3 inches may be slightly risky, as the Ballistarii explode within that range as well. It's only on a 6 and only deals a single mortal wound, so the risk here is negligible. If the explosion just kills a ranger, then the extra leadership will really just balance it out. Sure, you lost a model, but it was just a ranger, so no big deal. Offensively is really why we are bringing the shooty chickens. They have a 3+ ballistic skill, and the model can choose between the Twin Cognus autocannon and Twin Cognus las cannon. They are effectively the same as their generic counterpart, except for them being allowed to advance and still shoot their heavy weapons. Cognus means they take a -2 to hit modifier when doing so. This is a significant trade-off, but nice if you really need your Ballistarii to get up and go. The autocannon is a 48-inch, heavy 4, strength 7, AP -1, 2 damage weapon, while the las cannon offers 2 shots at the same range, with strength 9, AP -3, D6 damage. The autocannon variant is generally an all-comers weapon, but the las cannon is obviously better for taking out big models like tanks and monsters. I strongly prefer the las cannons to the autocannons. The autocannons are half the price of the las cannons, but even with that point difference, the math tends to favor the las cannons. The one scenario autocannons shine is when you don't have any large targets. When facing all infantry armies, the las cannons will struggle to find a target, while the autocannons will still do well, especially when facing infantry with 2 wounds or feel no pain. While the autocannons have this advantage, my AdMech armies are usually fine in the anti-infantry department. We really just need to cover the anti-tank rule. The final special rule to mention is a generic AdMech one, Canticles of the Omnissiah. These are 6 effects that you can use once per game at the start of the battle round. Alternatively, you can roll for your Canticle, which allows you to reuse Canticles already chosen throughout the game. A lot of people rag on our Canticles, but they give us a good amount of tools as long as you aren't just playing a straight gunline. Unfortunately, Ballistarii don't lend themselves to any other sort of play, so Canticles will only be of minor use here. We all know Shroud Song grants cover and is the best robot song, but don't forget Benediction of the Omnissiah to grant reroll 1s to hit in shooting. With this, your metal chickens can run off without a Tech Priest Dominus if they need to. Since they have such high movement potential, this actually does come in handy to get away from danger or to reposition to hit an obscured target. The vehicles come in units of between 1 and 6 models. Since Chapter Proof 2018, they are fairly cheap. 60 points for a chicken with autocannons and 80 points for the las cannon variant. If you're trying to fill out a minimum brigade, the autocannon variant will come in handy, but generally I'd recommend around 3 or 4 las cannon Ballistarii if you're going to be taking them at all. At 3 or 4 models, you can get some pretty accurate shooting for a relatively cheap price point. Within the faction, Ballistarii are in direct competition with Onager Dune Crawlers. Having the unit of multiple models, rather than the individual Dune Crawlers, makes it easier to stay in range with reroll to hit auras, as well as makes them a better recipient of stratagems. Speaking of reroll to hit auras, let's move on to units that synergize with the Ironstriders. The list of support pieces is short, just our 4 main HQ models. All of the AdMech HQs can repair the Ballistarii D3 wounds at the end of the movement phase. With one of the Warlord traits, this can be increased by 1, and with one of the relics, the D3 can be re-rolled. In any case, getting a couple wounds back each turn will keep the Ballistarii in better shape and really make use of those 6 wounds. A Tech Priest Manipulus could offer a bit better enhancements. If they sit still, they could increase the Ballistarii's range by 6 inches, giving the Ballistarii a 64-inch threat range before advancing. Las Cannon's 48-inch range tends to be sufficient, so that's why I say this buff has minimal effect. I guess you could always increase their movement instead, plus 2 inches at the advance, but how helpful is that going to be? Unlike the Manipulus, the advantage to upgrading the Engine Seer to a Dominus is to increase the Ballistarii's accuracy. The model has a 6-inch aura that allows the affected models to reroll to hit rolls of 1. With Ballistarii's decent 3+ ballistic skill, this will help get a few more hits through. To upgrade your HQ even further forces you to choose the Mars Forgeworld. The Mars Forgeworld grants access to the big bad Belisarius Call. Our hero bestows a reroll to hit aura, but is specifically worded to grant rerolls of all hits. Due to the core rules, when most units are shooting at -1 or -2 to hit, even if they have an ability to reroll failed hit rolls, they can't reroll the dice lost due to the negative modifiers. But with Belisarius Call, the AdMech player chooses which dice they want to reroll. The end result is the AdMech player rerolling literally all their misses, regardless of modifiers. This may seem like a minor benefit, but when running into flyers or Eldari units, it will come in handy big time. If, while supported by Call, the Ballistarii fired an Eldari plane that is, say, -3 to hit, the Ballistarii would be hitting on 6s, then be able to reroll all their misses. So, as you can see, the larger the modifier, the more Call's rerolls come into play. Not only will this help for targeting hard-to-hit units, but it gives the Ballistarii some freedom to move and not worry too much about the lost accuracy. Even advancing to take the -2 to hit modifier from Cognus wouldn't totally handicap Ballistarii, backed up by Call. The other benefit to Call, besides repairing vehicles, is his ability to manipulate the canticles of the Omnissiah rule. Call can increase or decrease the roll by 1, which gives a much better chance to getting the canticles you want. Other than support models, Ballistarii generally need to be screened from combat. Chaff units like Rangers and Guardsmen are good for keeping the Ballistarii out of combat and keeping Deep Strikers away from the Ironstriders. The next benefit of an AdMech detachment we'll discuss are the Stratagems. The first stratagem to mention enhances Tech Priest's ability to repair. Tech Adept costs 1 CP, and lets the model use Master of Machines to repair your Ballistarii a second time. Combined with the Warlord trait and/or relic to enhance repairs, the Tech Priest would be able to bring damaged Ballistarii up to full health. The next strat is Cognus Overwatch. For 1 command point, the Ballistarii can shoot at full ballistic skill during an Overwatch. I have caught quite a few people off guard with this one. Many opponents will want to engage the Ballistarii. If you can force them to charge them directly, Cognus Overwatch will come in handy. With either weapon loadout, it will be pretty nice, but I suppose this is one of the times where I'd probably prefer autocannons, but if you're planning to be charged, then the Ballistarii are already in trouble. One more thing to note here is it is still Overwatch, thus not affected by other modifiers. So Cognus Overwatch ignores hard to hit and other similar rules. Benevolence of the Omnissiah is the next stratagem to cover, and this one is a defensive one. Use this when taking mortal wounds on a Ballistarii. It gives the model a 5-up save against mortal wounds for the rest of the phase. Do note that it is model and not unit, meaning it only affects the first model in the unit. Once that one is destroyed, or the phase changes, it loses the protection. So, it's best to use this with a model with full wounds, about to eat a couple smites or other sources of mortals. The fourth stratagem I'll discuss is Untitled Chapter, another 1 CP strat that lets you roll 2d6 when advancing. Used to either get the chickens out of danger or make a big repositioning move. With the Cognus special rule, this will decrease hit rolls by -2. And with the next stratagem I'm going to mention, that will be completely mitigated. Protector Doctrina Imperative is another 1 CP stratagem with a great effect. This one increases their hit rolls by +2. This stratagem is absolutely awesome, whether you're mitigating negative modifiers from running or hard to hit models, or you just want as many shots to hit, so you want that 2+ ballistic skill. For 2 simple CP, your Ballistarii could be moving an average of 17 inches and still shoot their las cannons at full ballistic skill. Having so many chances of reroll 1s to hit, or even all hits due to call, the Ballistarii should be extremely accurate. The last stratagem is a no-brainer, but I'll still bring it up. Command reroll. If you can, save this for the damage roll on your las cannon chickens, and reroll that 1 or 2 damage if you really need to kill something. Now that we've covered our pertinent stratagems, let's talk about Forge World dogmas. Honestly, our dogmas won't have a huge impact on this unit, but you have to pick something, so let's see the benefits. I'll start with the one that was already mentioned, Mars. If you do choose the Fiery Forge World for call, the Ballistarii would benefit a bit from being able to choose 2 canticles a turn from the dogma's special ability. With call, the chances of getting a cover song for your chickens is increased quite a bit. Another side effect of Mars is their specific stratagem, Wrath of Mars. This is an incredibly powerful one, but to be honest, it has minimal effect on las cannon chickens. If you brought a unit of 5 or 6 Ballistarii with twin Cognus autocannons, however, you could pick up some mortal wounds in a pinch. Certainly not the best benefactor of the strat, but something to keep in mind. The other one is one that we're all familiar with, Styges 8. This one offers an incredible defensive augment. When shot outside of 12 inches, the unit is -1 to hit. The Ballistarii should have no trouble staying out of 12 inches, so this enhancement will just about always come in handy. If they are within 12 inches, you'd probably have bigger problems than ranged weapons hitting at normal ballistic skill. So, those are my thoughts on Ballistarii Ironstriders. In my opinion, the best way to run them is 3 or 4 models equipped with las cannons, with the Tech Priest Dominus or Call nearby. Doctrinas are our bread and butter, and really take the Ballis up a notch. With accuracy boosts, you should be hitting with all 8 of the las cannon shots, which will end up doing quite a bit of damage to most models, especially ones without invulnerable saves. Don't be afraid to move them or even advance them, knowing you can still give them +2 to hit. With Benediction of the Omnissiah, the Ballistarii become even more independent and allows them to reposition away from the army for a turn if they need to. To make them stick around as long as possible, try to keep them in cover or at least under the effects of Shroud Psalm or preferred positions. 6 wounds with 3+, 6++ is nothing to sneeze at, especially if you're repairing them 2 wounds or more a turn. Ballistarii Ironstriders receive a 4 out of 5. They are a solid anti-tank option in the Adeptus Mechanicus army, and gives the AdMech gunline a bit of mobility. What do you think of Ballistarii Ironstriders? What units would you like to see me review next on the channel? Leave your suggestions, thoughts, and questions in the comments below, and thanks for watching.